You pre-ordered Silent Hill 2 Remake? Nice. I can't remember the last game I pre-ordered. It might have been Monster Hunter Rise or Elden Ring. Last one you pre-ordered, RE4. How was it? I've heard mixed things about the RE4 remake. Yeah, I know. Extended car warranty, whatever. Torn red paper in the pocket. Take it! Record scratch moment. I bet you're wondering how I ended up in this situation. Wish you could play it all over again. Yeah, I need a PS5 so I could play Silent Hill 2 Remake, and I've pretty much given up on... Oh, hey, here's the phone. There's a lot of games that are multi-plat on PS4 that I'm holding off until I could get a PS5. Decent paintings. Can't say I'm overly impressed. Beat an RE4 OG and Remake on all difficulties. Yeah, I used to love Silent Hill 4. It was one of my favorite games growing up. Kind of a long story of how I got into it. My mom used to, like, invite people off of the street to live with us, basically. Because she was in this kind of long-term, multi-year PTSD spiral. She's also chronically ill, so she couldn't really leave the house a whole lot or make friends. So she would just, like, invite homeless people in to hang out and live with us, which caused a lot of bad situations. But she invited this younger guy. I was like 16. This guy's probably like early 30s, mid 30s maybe. He had been kicked out of his girlfriend's house and was living on the street. You know, I didn't ask too many questions. Really not a very good influence. He introduced us to his weed dealer. We would just like smoke weed all day long, and he introduced me to Resident Evil 4. And we played the hell out of that game. Yeah, we beat it on professional difficulty. I remember we spent hours on, what's the guy's name? The one, the army guy with like the beret and you fight him at the castle. I forgot his name. I remember we spent like 2 hours trying to beat that guy, and it felt so good when he finally did it. He convinced me to get an Xbox 360, really just so he could play Oblivion, because he was a big Elder Scrolls guy. But I quickly realized 360 wasn't for me, so I ended up selling it and did get a PS3 eventually. Smoked a lot and did the same. Yeah, Krauser. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird in retrospect. Like, this guy, you know, a lot of red flags are there. We would just go through like an ounce of weed a week between me, my mom, and this guy. But he also, he was like a really good friend to me too, during a time that I needed like a friend. Yeah, we would just smoke and play games. I don't know if he was looking for a job or not. I don't really remember. But he did eventually, we found out he had a warrant out for his arrest. The police discovered he was living with us. So they came and took him away. We found out it was for like breaking and entering into his ex-girlfriend's house. He claimed it was to get some of his things. I have no clue what the real story is. But yeah, then he went to jail for years. Like a few years at least. I didn't see him again until I was probably like 20. He like wrote us one time while he was in jail, and I felt bad that we couldn't respond to his mail, but like I was a kid and my mom was in no shape to really like maintain that type of thing. So we didn't reply, and I'm sure he like resented us. When he was released, he eventually did get back in touch with us and came to visit one time. And he was telling me stories of it from being in jail, how he had to like get like on his first week there, he had to fight some guy to get people to leave him alone. I was like, damn, sounds brutal. And he was really not the type of guy to like, he did have a very kind of soft bisexual demeanor to him. But yeah, a lot of fond memories of that during an extremely dark period of my life. It was a beacon of light to play Resident Evil 4 with this guy off the street. Weed used to bring the most unlikely folks together. It really did, man. It really did. Yeah, we had a lot of strange characters coming through my mom's place when I was a teenager. So many stories. Stealing her shoes. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it was okay. I have no clue where he's at these days. It's been, you know, nearly 15 years now since I've seen him. Maybe he was just going through stuff mentally. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like their relationship probably wasn't very stable. Hope he's doing well, and I hope his ex is doing well too. Weed and drugs, like, I don't know what weed culture is like now that it's legalized so many places, but definitely when I was a kid, man, truly, like, meet some strange characters. Maybe just wanted a sandwich. Yeah, that's true too. That could be it. He was a sandwich fan. Foot sandwich? Hey, where's the painting of me? Oh, it must be the guy who plays video games. Now this is me. He's always shut in his room. Looks like he has lots of weird interests. Yeah, I'm coming. She probably made some fire sandwiches. There's no one there. Whoa, who was phone? Mike, Rachel, and her stalker, huh? I'm not really filling in the blanks here. I've never been good at, like, remembering and keeping track of plot details, which is strange because I love movies and I love narrative games, but I've always been bad at, like, remembering who's who and what's going on. What I remember most about stories is the feeling I get from them. That's mostly how I remember all my favorite things. Like, I'm really bad at explaining the plot of stuff, but I can tell you exactly how it made me feel. The super mistakenly thought that Mike was Rachel's lover. Who's Mike? He took Mike into his apartment and peeled his skin off. Holy shit, so he's my hero? First thing you see when you get here is foot sandwich? Yeah, I was just telling the story of this guy, how my mom used to invite people to live with us off of the street. She invited this younger guy who had been living off the street. He was probably like early 30s. And we would play Resident Evil 4. He introduced me to Resident Evil 4. That's not a game I ever would have played without his influence. Just because I was a scaredy cat. I've always been more of an RPG person. Yeah. I'd love to tell some more stories of my adolescence on stream sometime, as they come to mind. I told this story during the Killer 7 stream about this weed dealer that lived with us. Call him Jeremy. He was he was a buff, gay, black Marvel nerd who sold drugs. And he was a psycho. He was like he went to jail for like tying up his 16-year-old boyfriend in his basement and like cutting him. It's fucking insane shit. He went to jail for that. But he lived with us for a while. He was also into metal. He was like a metalhead, buff, gay, black, nerd metalhead. Is like an extremely unlikely combination of attributes. Oh, but yeah, before he lived with us, we just knew him from dealing weed downtown. Me and my teenager friends, we'd buy weed from him. And he used to carry around this backpack with a padlock. He was like, yeah, if it's locked, the cops need a warrant. I was like, don't you think it looks a little suspicious, like to have a padlock on your backpack? But yeah, we'd go into the damn Panera's bathroom, and he'd, open up his backpack, and he pulls out a fat PS2, like the original model. I'm like, okay, so where's the weed? Then he takes the back of the PS2 off, because you remember the old original PS2 had that big hole in it, which is where you'd put the hard drive if you had a hard drive for Final Fantasy XI. So he takes the back of the PS2 off and pulls out a big, thing of weed. I'm like, dude, that doesn't help anything. I feel like, first of all, having the padlock is suspicious. Secondly, they're not going to be like, oh, so it's just a PS2 in here. Okay, no problem. No. Go in the door. Imagine you use a PS2 for weed. Dude, wonder what that game is like. You plug that in, stash some weed in your PS2, plug it in, go for a trip. Yeah, teenagers love smoking things. They love experimenting. The weed in the PS2 isn't concealing my QTR paper. Officer, I was just playing, there's not weed in here, it's, Crash Bandicoot. There's no weed, it's just Crash Bandicoot, don't worry. Old video game machines. Whoa, cool! This room is awesome. Look at this. Old video game machines. Sweet. Speaking of video game machines and devices I had no idea about. Whoa, I wish I could zoom in. What consoles are these? That looks like an Atari. Hey, man, I'm busy. Hey, fuck off. game is single player only. Oh, I think I was gonna say downtown in my town, there was like this like kind of central park type of area where all sorts of people would congregate. You had like goth kids, you had furries, drug dealers, college students. You could just go down there, get like, you know, a nickel bag. Me and my high school friends go down there, get a nickel bag, and then of course smoke it out of like an apple or something. I think the first time I smoked weed was out of a can of Coke. Yeah, I miss those days. Not really, but I like thinking about them. It's fun. Water bottle with a piece of screen from a window. Damn. That's teenage as hell. Ooh, doggies. We used to have Dalmatians. We had 2 Dalmatians when I was like 3 years old. One of them bit a huge chunk out of my ear, so we had to get rid of them. We gave them to a farm. They were too rambunctious. I was wrestling with one of them, and he bit a chunk of my ear out, and I had to get a bunch of stitches. I still have the scar. My family always had so many pets. We always had like 2 dogs and 3 cats. And if one died, we got another to replace it. We had a wiener dog named Pete. We had a miniature dachshund and a chow chow. So if you guys have ever seen that show, Two Stupid Dogs, I was like proud. Because I really loved the cartoon Two Stupid Dogs when I was a little kid. I was like, I have the 2 stupid dogs right here. The dachshund and the chow chow. Yeah, those dogs are so cute. I feel bad for them though, because you know, their backs or whatever. Yeah, chows are really nice dogs too. This one is not a nice dog. Damn, Axe is buff. Calling PETA? Call them. They can get some too.
You gotta stay gaming, bruh.